Greetings, my fellow shiploaders, sovereign thinkers. This is LO3's News Podcast. My name is Craig, transmitting from the beautiful Swampy Mango, South Florida. And today's date is Friday, March 9th, 2018. Yeah, if you hear some news in the background, I'm at Stash, which is like the coffee and bar den located at 109 Southwest 3rd Avenue in the heart of the Hermitage District of Fort Lauderdale. Adjacent with Revolution Live and America's Backyard. So, I think a few brothers are involved. Pretty cool little facility. I like it. I worked here at times, so they know me. Don't have any issues. But it's all good. Yeah, so you hear music background. Don't worry about it. It's not going to be a distraction. Yeah, so, looks like people are calling in Florida, letting Rick Scott know on trying to veto it or sign it. And the fact is, based on that bill, SB 7026, there's particular language in there that will be considered illegal under our Florida Constitution. Because you have to have an amendment ballot when you want to do firearms, purchase three-day rapier for rifles. Okay, so it has to be right in got to be in the Constitution. Okay, that's under Article 1, Section 8. So that could be fought in court and win, be victorious because it's on its face, prima facie, on past voting on our state constitution, including the three-way imperial handguns and the local options, which like I said before, I voted no on both of them. I was 19 when I voted against 3-day waiting period on handgun purchasing. So so I've been pretty consistent. Now I'm 49, so I've been on a roll for that. So I'm not trying to flip flop or anything like that. However, if there's a lot more merit behind a certain topic, then I may reconsider and so forth. I'll be open. But thereafter, when it comes to my natural born rights, I tell others to stick it. I don't need a nanny. I don't need a father. My father passed. God bless his soul. And I have a mother too. So, but she's still alive. And I have members of family I'd rather talk to than these bobbleheads that can't even tie their own shoelaces or wipe their own rear ends. I know, and another funny thing too about the daylight savings time. They want to, in Florida, both House and the Senate passed the daylight savings time year-round in the state of Florida. So technically they want us to live on the Atlantic Standard Time, which is pretty ludicrous as far as I'm concerned. Actually, we don't need daylight savings time, to be very frank. And I just find this as a complete turnoff so I can keep some of these other folks happy. And you know what, man? Don't need it. I personally don't like daylight savings time. I find this as a pretty lame in good faith. So that's my intake on that. And the whole thing is, like bizarro world. I've been reading reports on that they're doing the seizing firearms in Seattle. If you're like considered a threat, they try to have that language in here in Florida. Okay, with in SB 726. And they have something like that in Oregon, okay? This is like a herd-conformed treasonous platform. And the people who are for this are freedom haters, period. Okay? I call them traitors. You can take your Maltese-sung attributes and shove it up your rear ends. You're my enemy. And I don't give a damn who you know and who you blow. All right? If you don't accept that, you don't have to listen to my show. That's plain and simple. Environmental things, do care. What's funny about Fort Lauderdale, they're trying to build more high-rises. I call them luxurious pigeonholes. Not impressed at all. And, of course, people have to realize Florida's one big piece of limestone. Buildings do sink. But, this is how we do it in Connecticut. Or this is how we do it in New York. Sorry. I'm from Brooklyn. I don't want to live in New York. Nothing against that place. There's a lot of awesome people in that city, okay? I got some good friends good friends and family still live there, and I love them dearly. There's some awesome people there. All right? I'm not gonna crucify them, but the pretentious ones that think their crap don't stink, those are the people I'm really critical of. So I was at the poorhouse chat with a friend of mine, a colleague of hers, I say an acquaintance, they're good folk, telling me some of the people about this how to do it up north. Yeah, I told them to go back to your police state. They go, and she just laughs because she knows I'm right. I know I'm ranting here, but it was just my little forte. Beautiful day, a little chilly last night for us Floridians, residential Floridians. But you know what? I like it. A lot of spring breakers are like walking around half naked and they're all being chilly. Oh well, that's how it goes. But you know what? Enjoy it while we can because it's going to be a gig butt season coming around the corner, if you know what I mean. All right, well, enough of my little ranting. Sorry for that little delay. Gotta make sure my phone doesn't ring when I'm doing my show. So the first thing I'm going to be talking about came out yesterday from NewsBuzz. It's an exclusive. And hopefully I'll get everything done here. And I recommend everyone go to newsbuzz.com, be a subscriber, be part of the membership community members. Okay, a lot of their information is exclusive for the members. I'm just doing the show, just giving you some retake and narrative. If you want to read the articles, please subscribe to them. They're really good. They're nonpartisan bias, and I don't get complaints from them. Me narrating those articles on my show. So hey, it'd be great. You know, all they gotta do is talk to me. All right. Okay. Well, this came out from NewsBuzz. It's NewsBuzz exclusive yesterday. It says here Trump's generals prepared final plans to take out Syria. So God bless the empire, right? Well, to start here, from Kurt Nebo. And it was here. Well, Obama funded and failed to take out the government Bashar al-Assad. Donald Trump will soon pick up where his predecessor left off and declare mission accomplished. New York Times, as a trusted asset of Operation Mockingbird, is cheerleading in the latest effort to contrive a pretext to go in and finish the job. On March 5th, it ran an article claiming, once again without solid evidence, that al-Assad has engaged in yet another chlorine gas attack. President Trump requested options for punishing the Assad government after reported chlorine gas attack at least 7 this year, and possibly other chemicals affected civilians in opposition-controlled areas. Right, team of 4 times journos to say to say Pentagon stenographers. Trump met with his Territorial General, Chief of Staff John Kelly, National Security Advisor H.R. McMaster, and Defense Secretary Jim Mattis to take over potential actions. Dana White, Chief Pentagon spokeswoman, said Mad Dog Mattis didn't participate in the war powwow, as claimed by an anonymous official, and added the conversation did not happen. An unnamed senior administration official said Mattis was adamantly against bombing the heck out of Syria in response to recent chlorine attacks that McMaster was for it. The Times couldn't resist pushing the now thoroughbred anti-Russian and Iran narrative. The prospect of renewed military action, even if tabled for now, underscores the explosiveness of a conflict that has become a battlefield for rivalries between Russia and Iran, and on one side, the United States and its allies on the other. So what you're seeing right now is like a, what do they call that? Antebellum, all right, pre-war conditions, which is already in the works. They're trying to accelerate that. Okay, Bloomberg, meanwhile, offered a dubious historical analogy. If the war in Syria in the century, Spanish Civil War, when the carnage now occurring in East Ghouta is the modern-day Guernica, yet this may be a situation unlike in 1937, where the world is in a position to do something about it. The Spanish Civil War comparison is naturally ridiculous. Balashards, no Fracatista, and in the CIA supported jihadi maniacs are nothing like the loyalist faction, although they are loyal to warped percepts of Wahhabi intolerance and head chopping. War prohibitions, of course, need colorful rhetorical flourishes Never mind the average American does not know the difference between the Spanish-American War and the Hundred Years' War. Bloomberg stenographers are reading from the same script as their colleagues at the Times and the White House. The moral responsibility for Eastern Ghouta clearly belongs to the Syrian government and its primary sponsors, Iran and Russia, but the West was hardly covered itself in glory with its efforts to stop the atrocities. In the recent past, most of the chemical attack propaganda parroted by the establishment media arrived by the way of the usual suspect, the White Helmets, a mostly British-sponsored propaganda outfit inserted with Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, a group of Salafist lunatics aligned with al-Qaeda. The leader of al-Qaeda in Syria, Abu Jabir al-Shikin, has praised the White Helmets as its hidden soldiers of our revolution. All wet dream, right? Absolutely. In the middle of February, the Russian Center for Reconciliation on opposite sides in Syria warned Wahab al-Nusra, now branded as Wahab Fatim al-Sham, plotted together with the White Helmets to hatch chemical attacks that would, as a matter of course, be blamed on the Syrian government. See, all these changed, different names, still the same. On the evening of February 12th, a resident from Syria settlement located in the Adlib province called the Russian Center for Reconciliation to notify the center about a chemical weapons attack that could be staged to provide footage for a foreign TV channel. A statement reads, according to the caller, members of the local White Helmets branch wore personal protective equipment while rehearsing first aid provisions to civilians suffering from chemical poisoning. The stunt was filmed by professional reporters who used a mic with the CNN logo, according to the center. In other words, CNN is embedded with Al-Qaeda. That was admitted on February 13th when the network posted a tweet mentioning reports filed by Ara Damon, billed as its senior international correspondent. Damon is president of ANERA, the International Network for Aid Relief and Assistance, an organization partnered with Google, UNICEF, and a Safari Foundation. The latter establishment by Ayman Asafari, a Syrian-born English businessman investigated by Britain's Serious Fraud Office in regard to a criminal relationship with Unioil, a Monaco-based company accused of bribery in an agreement to build oil pipeline in Iraq. Whenever the prospect of peace breaks out in Syria, the government makes substantial advances against jihadists. The United States rolls out the chemical weapons ruse. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryakov told Interfax news agency last month that when this happens, the United States floats rigged, unverified reports of chemical attacks in Syria. Russia's Novosti news agency quoted Ryakov as saying the outpour of unsubstantiated accusations continues on the background of relentless relapses of chemical terrorism in the Middle East at the convenience from the West and overt provocations of the part of militants by using toxic agents which continue to occur, despite Washington's unwillingness to fulfill at least its own obligations to destroy the U.S. chemical stockpile. So, let's continue here. In January, Secretary of State Rex Tillerson accused Russia of complicity in Syria's upstaged use of chemical weapons. There is simply no denying that Russia, by shielding its Syrian allies, has breached its commitments to the United States as a frame network generator and has betrayed the Chemical Weapons Convention and the UN Security Resolution 2118, Tillerson says. Tillerson's condemnation followed an alleged chemical attack in jihadi-held eastern Ghouta outside of Damascus. So only yesterday, more than 20 civilians, mostly children, were victims of an apparent chlorine attack. Tillerson said after attending a conference on chemical weapons in Paris. Reports on the supposed attack came from the UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a one-man operation run by Ramin Abdel Rahman, a Syrian immigrant living in Coventry, England, who is a member of the so-called Syrian opposition. In other words, Al Qaeda and associates. I am not a media organization. I work from my phone, my private home, he told RT in 2015. Despite not being a media organization, the corporate media routinely takes Rahman at face value and disregards the mysterious sources of his information. He admits most of his funding comes from the European Council. Meanwhile, the drumbeat of war continues. Trump's combative White House Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders said on March 4th the civilized world will not tolerate the Assad regime's continued use of chemical weapons. But if the United States do it, it's exceptional, right? Exceptional. We can do it, but you can't, right? The Trump administration has joined France and the UK in declaring it will strike Bashar al-Assad if the Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, or OPCW, determines he is responsible. The organization is currently investigating possible violations of the International Weapons Convention, which Syria signed in 2013. OPCW says it will not be assigned blame, but its conclusions will undoubtedly be used by the U.S., France, and the UK as a propaganda fodder if the organization finds Syria culpable. On March 2nd, French President Emmanuel Macron declared that there will be no impunity if another chemical attack occurs. He said there will be a firm response in the case of proven use of chemicals, weapons leading to the deaths of civilians in close coordination with our American allies. So he's saying, remember, he's a Club of Rome bellboy. Anyway, he's like, the Club of says, don't do this, or we're not going to give you anything in the rear. He goes, okay, master, I'll do that for you. That's Macron, okay? And there's another example of a New World Order puppet. In order to add sense of urgency to an impending attack, a nicely timed United Nations report accuses North Korea of providing Syria equipment for the manufacture of chemical weapons. The leaked report, complied by the UN panel of experts, states North Korea has used innovative evasion techniques to send high heat, acid resistant tiles, corrosion-resistant valves, and thermometers to Syria. It alleged Syria's scientific study and research center has set up a series of front companies to pay the North Koreans. Western intelligence claimed the SSRC is manufacturing chemical weapons in Mayasaf and at Damar and Barzeh outside Damascus. The UN reports alleged shipments were sent by the Chinese trade firm Chen Tong Trading Company Limited. China has denied it has any involvement in the alleged shipments, and the UN added the UN has no evidence. All of this forming into a perfect storm that may soon accomplish what Obama was unable to do: devise and act upon a pretext for invasion and removal of Bashar and his government. So it would be like Operation Ajax revisited again, just times, multiple times, multiple revisits. Okay, I'll say that better, of Operation Ajax. Yes, I can say that. Study history, my friends. And we could go around here. Defeat of the Islamic State and the cleansing with other rebel groups in Syria, accomplished largely by the Syrian government with the help of Russia, Iran, and Hezbollah, represents a defeat for the effort to depose al-Assad and install an animal and compliant regime in Syria, even if it is comprised of Wahhabi fanatics, as the Pentagon predicted in 2012. In the time of essence, the Syrians are close to cleaning out the last remnants of jihadis in the Gouda region, described by Daily Beast as its Srebrenica movement. That was in near Bosnia and Serbia area, and it's been released too. On National Archives Security, look that up. The genocide over there is horrible. An illusion of mass murder. The days and weeks ahead, and the United States will decide when we'll gauge the concerted military action in coordination with Britain, France, and Britain. And the attack has a probability of turning into something other than a limited regional conflict. Following Trump's attack on the Syrian airbase last April, an attack launched with Trump's daughter showed him photos of dead babies following a supposed chemical attack in Khan Shiganow. The Russians said they won't put up with it. Yeah, it reminds me of the incubator, the girls who lie about the babies getting tossed out of the incubators by the Iraqi soldiers when they invaded Kuwait. Remember that? All you folks out there, remember that? Around my age group, I have. What America waged an aggression on Syria is crossing of red lines. From now we will respond with force to any aggressor when they breach of red lines from whatever it is. And America knows our ability to respond well. A group including Russia and the Syrian government declared in a tersely worded statement. War is, however, already underway, if if on low simmer. In February, the U.S. killed around 100 soldiers as the Syrians attempt to take back oil fields in Kujam. Russian contractors from the firm Ragnar, under U.S. sanctions for supporting separatists in eastern Ukraine, were also killed after the Syrians crossed the Euphrates River near Deir Azur and attacked the U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces and an alliance of Kurdish, Syrian Arab, Christian Assyrian, and Turkmen militias. This is merely a preview of things to come. President Trump has repeatedly expressed his willingness, backed up with stern pronouncements by his Secretary of State and UN Ambassador, Bulldog Nikki Haley. I just call her a poodle as far as I'm concerned, to attack Syria and ignite a war that will undoubtedly spread beyond the confines of Syria and the Middle East. Yes, could we say, God bless the New World Order, imperialism is the only way? So all these little pig kids out there are getting angry about this whole gun reform. How come we're not going after this one? Dancing to us and all these people. Yeah, you better start paying attention, my friends. Calling all you people out. Like, you want the government to get all this power, and you want us to still like peons. You still want somebody still support imperialism? I don't. I'm not. I'm a who crazy son of Al Assad, okay? But I'm not gonna Al Assad, okay? But I'm not gonna. Why should my tax dollars might be extorted to take them out and put in a bunch of bellboys, bend over Bobs, Allah, Shah of Iran, have a Shah of Syria, right? That's what it sounds like to me. That's why I always say to everyone, bring our troops home around the world. We don't need to tell people what to live and how to wipe their rear ends. They can do it themselves. If they can't, that's their own problem. But something like this is completely unacceptable. And is even in the past, I talk about on my past episodes about Syria, they're focusing on controlling the oil fields and put a pipeline in that country. They're trying to pursue that for at least the past 50 years and has failed. All right? There is nothing more than New World Order propaganda at its finest. A lot of these folks out there, you better start looking at the bigger picture. Stop relying on this idiot lamestream garbage you watch on TV, read a newspaper. Well, some of them are learning now. They're laughing about some of the stuff. Doesn't make any sense at all. I do remember someone told me about Iran or China was selling or North Korea was selling, giving technology to Syria. I don't know how accurate is that. I doubt it. But the whole thing is, my friends, we gotta let these guys tell these neocons to stick it up there, stick it where the sun don't shine. Yeah, one big turnoff. It really is. But what are you gonna do about it? I say, stop, do a tax revolt. Get them where it hurts. Okay, next one here. Came out today by Kerry Wilder. Activist post says here, the FBI now admits it could have prevented the Florida high school shooting. And I'd like to thank Doug Owen from Blacklisted News. He put this out, so I checked it, and boom, it's awesome. It's good. It's good to have followers and pen pals, social media pen pals to share information. It's great. So, and I want to read it here. It says here, amid the fallout from the February 14th school shooting in Parkland that left 17 dead, the FBI and the local law enforcement received widespread criticism for their inability to prevent the shooting despite multiple warning signs and opportunities. On Tuesday, the FBI admitted these failures to the House Judiciary Committee during a hearing focused on how the Bureau handled tips about Nicholas Cruz prior to the massacre. FBI Director David Bowden met with members of the House Judiciary Committee and House Oversight and Government Reform Committee, acknowledging, as the House Judiciary Committee press release put it, opportunities were missed. The release summarized the takeaways, which have been highlighted in the media reports. Oops, sorry about that. Media reports. In September 2017, FBI received an internet tip from a video blogger about a threatening comment posted on a YouTube video to the blogger has posted. The comment started, "I'm going to be a professional school shooter," and was posted under username Nicholas Cruz. That's pretty strange. What's going on here? According to the hearing, the FBI office in Mississippi received that tip, but after officials investigated, they closed it because it lacked personal identifiable information on the user who posted the threatening comment. The user, Nicholas Cruz, was evidently not enough for the agents to go on. Apparently, the agents could have done more. The agent tasked with the case and have requested the assistance from YouTube to attempt to identify the user who left the comment, but determined that the United States Attorney's Office in that region was unlikely to agree with such a request. On other occasion, a friend of the Cruz family called the FBI tip line and, according to Bowditch, provided sufficient information for the Bureau to follow up. But as the press release noted, the call taker did not ask any standard investigative probing questions during the call, despite the caller saying saying she worried Cruz going to explode, and that she feared him getting into school and just shooting the place up. The agent who took the call spoke to their supervisor, but the conversation was not documented. Worse, as the press release summarized. At the time, the caller was able to connect information about Nicholas Cruz to the September 2017 tip about the threatening YouTube comment. Despite these connected dots, the call taker and supervisor decided not to pursue the matter further, and the case was closed. Interesting. They also declined to contact local authorities, even though the caller told them Parkland police were also aware of the Cruz pose. Better information sharing between federal and local law enforcement may have prevented the shooting at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, the summary of the hearing noted, by which admitted there were failures and that corrective actions will be taken, including conducting separate reviews of the two above instances and providing better training for call takers working the tip line. Though the FBI is often glorified in entertainment, it has received increased support in recent months thanks to the pursuit of potential corruption within the Trump administration. The government agency has a long history of nefariousness. That's right, they do. Though it is successful in using informants to instigate potential terror attacks and foiling them and taking credit for keeping the public safe, it appears that, despite its tip line, widespread surveillance methods, and immense manpower, the agency continues to fail to live up to its reputation. And I remember there was an interview, someone from Judicial Watch talked about it should shut down the FBI and transfer it to the U.S. Marshals and have people who are credible in the FBI department can work with them. Because the U.S. Marshals have more honorable credibility than the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Remember, J. Edgar Hoover was influenced by the Nazis, collecting information on everybody. And what happened? Well, it looks like his legacy dropped the ball, right? So that's one thing you have to look at. And of course, I still say Broward County Sheriff Scott Israel is not my sheriff. All right, and I know there's a petition going on out there about fire Scott Israel, but I may have to do a recall on him as well. But I know I don't have to really go too much because I have talked about the flaws, what they took advantage of, the waiting period in Broward County for all firearms, which they're not telling you in the mainstream news. Broward County Ordinance 18-96. I have brought it up multiple times. You can look it up. Trust me. It's a fact. Local options. And you know I voted no on it, but it's a fact. Okay, so I'm just so one thing, these Orwellian snowflakes, and even guys like the guy Dean Dan Trillis and all these other little cornballs want gun reform, you better start looking at the bigger picture. And we all know too about his SSRI case. How come not going after them? I know some people who are running for the Senate. They Steve Machat is one of them. May have some differences, but he does agree. Is a big pharma is a big issue. Psychotropic drugs, which I will be on his side on that subject because it is essential. Because I don't see the bigger picture, my friends, then you can start connecting the dots a lot easier. I'm not saying at like a breeze, but you can figure it out compared to other folks out there because they rely on the propaganda matrix, Operation Mockingbird's tactics. Well, the FBI dropped the ball, so did the Broward Sheriff's Office. Scott Israel, I would say this. Turn in your crap, get the hell out of my county, leave Florida, please. Because you're not more than a treasonous quack because of your cheerleading attributes on trying to deprive our natural born rights. You are a traitor, sir. And I don't give a damn if you get offended or not. You're not my sheriff. Deep down inside, you know I'm right. And in addition, many people will agree with me on that statement. All right. I'll be right back, so stay tuned. All right. So I'll take a little break there. Next one came from Activist Post. And check this out. TSA expands body scanner searches to New York, LA train stations. S. God bless the New World Order. All hail to police state. Your health is not important, but we still want to keep you safe. All right, let's just see what it has to say here. This is by Derek Rose. Came out yesterday. Visitor to New York's Penn Station will now be subject to random searches via body scanners courtesy of the Transportation Security Administration and Amtrak Police. Train and bus riders in New York City and Los Angeles have recently subject to random virtual searches from new body scanner technology being rolled out by the U.S. Transportation Security Administration. The body scanners uses passive millimeter wave technology that detects heat coming from an individual's body and supposedly can detect when an individual has something strapped to their body. The technology outed and used in part of a system called the Stand-Up Explosive Detection. Technology developed by Quentin TQ and Digital Barriers of Thruvis. How cute, right? Absolutely. CBNBC reports that TSA and Amtrak began testing the equipment at New York City's Penn Station. The alarm will go off on the equipment operator's laptop, triggered by an individual's naturally occurring remission from the human body, CNBC writes. CNBC also reports that TSA Administrator David Pekoski stated in November 27 that the agency will not introduce airport-like security at other public transportation stations. New Yorkers are not only population facing invasion of privacy. Metro riders at the Metro Center Station, downtown Los Angeles, recently faced the same body scanning technology, KTLA reports. The portable passenger screening system was being tested as part of the partnership between LA County Metros and the Federal Transportation Security Administration. Metro previously tested two other systems in August and December of last year as part of the pilot program to elevate security technology. The American Civil Liberties Union is among the critics of the TSA's expansion of invasive technology. The ACU says it is not yet clear whether the use of technology is even constitutional since the Fourth Amendment requires a warrant to perform search of an individual. An exception was previously made for airports, but it is not yet clear if it would hold for the general public space. The ACU also says the government is not being transparent about the technology and that they will have to be used on whom and they will eventually be deployed. We also know who will have access to the information they collect or for how long. The ACU also draws attention to the fact that we do not know whether individuals will be allowed to opt out of being searched. It is obvious that the government is now spending taxpayer money on a device just to allow the public to opt out. The ACLU wonders what will happen when an alert is triggered. Will this allow the TSA to detain someone or search them further? The ACLU expands upon this concern. Once an anomaly is detected, a computer algorithm determines whether the abnormality presents a green, yellow, or red risk level. We don't know what happens if someone provokes a yellow or a red alert, or if even a green alert will cause further scrutiny. Does a security official make a judgment call of whether to interrogate or otherwise hassle that person? These latest expansions of the TSA from airports and trains followed a disturbing report from 2017 detailing how the TSAs tested new measures that required passengers to remove books and paper goods from their carry-on luggage. According to a report from the Wall Street Journal and Sacramento Bee, the TSA has already begun to roll out these new invasive policies. While I expect going through an airline security to be time-consuming and mildly annoying, my attitude changed recently as I prepared abroad a flight out of Sacramento International Airport in the days after Memorial Day weekend. The Sacramento Bee wrote, as I stood in line, Transportation Security Administration officials announced that SMF that everyone was to take books, magazines, and food out of their bags and put them in a separate bin for inspection. That was it. A line was crossed for me. When the body scan of the TSA searches began in the years following the 9/11 attacks, civil liberties advocates warned that the measures would eventually expand beyond the airport to all public areas. Anyone who warned of this possibility was called a conspiracy theorist or fearmonger. Now we see the TSA at the Super Bowl and other high-profile events, bus stations, train stations, and soon they will be installed on every street corner. That's a fact. I've seen this in a lot of areas. Okay, so I will continue. Only when the notion of privacy has been erased and smothered under the light of America's impending collapse will the submissive populace feel secure. Once all liberty has been lost, will the tyrants finally stop expanding their operations? Operations. Yeah, exactly. I don't think so. All they want to do is control, control, control. Now we have these willing snowflakes believe we got to give up our freedom for security so they can feel safe. Just an example, my friends, how long when you clowns out there that call me conspiracy theorist, tinfoil hat, will learn. I'm not saying I'm better than you. Never have, never will. But I do have the input on seeing things a lot broader. The knack. And everyone out there can do the same. I'm not here to change people, but inspire. This is why you have to pay attention. And the Parkland shootings is just another example of put the fear into people and make them submit for your own good. To you guys. How far does the rabbit hole, how deep does the rabbit hole go? I'll tell you one thing. It goes a lot further than you and I know. There's another deception to make us feel safe, which is more like harassing. If you have a certain odor, it goes off. How about if you're a diabetic? Okay? Just to give you an example. It may go off. We don't know. This is very treacherous. And the only thing I tell folks, to fight the real war on terror is to defend our U.S. Bill of Rights culture. Nothing more. Ends, ifs, or buts. Okay. Let me see here. There's another one for the peeping toms out there from Electronic Frontier Foundation. Came out the 6th by Aaron Mackey. It's entitled Geek Squad's Relationship with FBI is Cozier Than We Thought. Yeah, pull down my pants to get ahead in life. Hallelujah. I will continue on here. Update. Best Buy spokesman confirms to reporters that at least 4 Geek Squad employees received payments from the FBI. Okay, for more federalized Uncle Toms in the house. Yeah. As a prosecution of California doctor revealed the FBI's ties to a Best Buy Geek Squad computer repair facility in Kentucky. New documents released to EFF show that the relationship goes back years. The records also confirm that FBI has paid Geek Squad employees as informants. EFF have filed a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit last year to learn more about how the FBI used Geek Squad employees to flag illegal material when people pay Best Buy to repair their computers. They should potentially circumvent computer owners' Fourth Amendment rights. I think I should really do is just put a lot of garbage in there and see what they can tell them. I can start laughing at them. It's time to entrap themselves. It's time to give them a taste of their own medicine. Just put garbage in your computer and let them go off to the FBI and start laughing at them. Called Use the Enemy. Documents released to EFF show that the Best Buy officials have enjoyed a particularly close relationship with the agency for at least 10 years. For an example, an FBI memo from September 2008 details how Best Buy hosts a meeting of the agency's cyber working group at a Kentucky repair facility. The memo and related emails show that Geek Squad employees also gave FBI officials a tour to the facility before their meeting and makes clear that the law enforcement agency's Louisville division has maintained a close liaison with the Geek Squad's management in an effort to glean case initiations to support the division's computer intrusion and cyber crime programs. Another document records a $500 payment from the FBI to a confidential Geek Squad informant. This appears to be one of the same payments at issue in the prosecution of Mark Rentemeyer, the confidential doctor who was charged with possession of child pornography after Best Buy sent his computer to the Kentucky Geek Squad repair facility. Interesting. Other documents show that over the years of working with Geek Squad employees, FBI agents developed a process for investigating and prosecuting people who sent their devices to the Geek Squad for repairs. The document details a series of FBI investigations in which a Geek Squad employee would call the FBI field office after finding what they believe was child pornography. The FBI agent would show up, review the images or video, or determine whether they believe they are illegal content. After that, they would seize a hard drive or computer and send it to the FBI field office near where the owner of the device lived. Agents at the local FBI office would then investigate further and in some cases try to obtain a warrant to search the device. Some of these reports indicate that the FBI treated the Geek Squad employees as informants, identifying them as CHS, which is shorthand for confidential human sources. In other cases, the FBI identified the initial calls as coming from Best Buy employees, raising questions as to whether certain employees had different relationships with the FBI. In the case of the investigation of Rentmeyer's computers, the documents released to the EFF do not appear to have been made public in that prosecution. These raise additional questions about the level of cooperation between the company and law enforcement. For example, documents reflect that Geek Squad employees only alert the FBI when they happen to find illegal materials during manual search of images device, and that the FBI does not direct those employees to actually find illegal content. But some evidence in the case appears to show that Geek Squad employees did make an affirmative effort to identify illegal material. For example, the image found on Rentmeyer's hard drive was an allocated space, which typically requires forensic software to find. Other evidence showed that Geek Squad employees were financially rewarded for finding child pornography. The Jabana would likely encourage Geek Squad employees to actively sweep for suspicious content. Although these documents provide new details about the FBI's connection to the Geek Squad and its Kentucky repair facility, the FBI has withheld a number of other documents in response to our Floyd lawsuit. The worst, the FBI has refused to confirm or deny to EFF whether it has similar relationships with other computer facilities or businesses, despite our FOIA specifically requesting those records. The FBI has also failed to produce documents that would show whether the agency has internal procedures or training materials that govern when agents seek to cultivate informants at computer repair facilities. We plan to challenge the FBI stonewalling in a court later in the spring. In the meantime, you can read all documents produced so far here, and here there's some links on that. And I've been following this for a good period of time on Geek Squad. And you know what? Here's the thing, my friends. If you found not guilty, I would do a lawsuit that your rights have been violated under Title 42, Section 1983. Okay? That's a good thing. You just look up Title 42, U.S. Code, Section 1983, that your rights have been violated. I would say do it. Hell with you, Phil. Get them where it hurts. And remember, they're a private corporation. All right? So you can get them for libel and all that good stuff. And conspiracy to false arrest. Go figure. Y'all want to sell their souls to the feds, and our so-called tax dollars are paying the tab, right? How astute of them. So, yeah, it's one thing leads to another. All right. Well, one more here. I know I actually do 4 segments, but I'm going to do 5 at this time. And it's right here. It's really disturbing. Came out today by Free Thought Press. Or the freethoughtproject.com, excuse me. And it's entitled, Watching Just Legalized Human Trafficking. Babies Can Now Be Bought and Sold Commercially. It's by Matt Agarist. And he says what he has to say about this. House Democrats will legalize the purchase and sale of human babies. 42nd District Representative Loane Van Verven in Linden. Washington, when most people think about surrogacy, they image an 11 fertile or same-sex couple unable to have children who need to surrogate mothers to give them a baby. Surrogacy has long been an amazing gift for those unable to have babies. However, when the laws are passed that commercialize separation from babies from the birth mother, very real risk to children arise. When it comes to surrogacy laws in the United States, Washington's proven to be a third world country over the years as countries have legalized commercial surrogacy. Once they realize the horrors that it creates, they proceed to ban as it creates a market for children to be bought and sold like commodities with no oversight as where the babies end up. After watching children being openly sold to human traffickers. In 2015, both Thailand and Nepal banned the act. In 2016, Mexico also banned commercial surrogacy, followed by India last year and Cambodia this week. The bans are as a result of watching what happens when such laws are placed, as it quite literally legalizes the buying and selling of children and creates a market for human trafficking. In spite of these bans, however, the baby buyers don't go away. They just move their lobbying to other markets, and their sights have been set on Washington State. As the Linden Tribune reports last week, the Washington State House of Representatives approved legislation to modify the procedures of determining certain aspects of legal parenting-child relationship, as known as the Washington Uniform Parentage Act. The bill makes change to surrogacy agreements, allowing for commercial surrogacy, says 10 House Republicans, including House Republican women, including 42nd District Representative Luane Van Verren, who is a Republican from Linden. Many legislators call the bill the most conservative policy they have considered in their careers. In the press this week, lawmakers voiced their dissent, noting the exchange of funds for caring and giving birth to a child undermines the human dignity and rights of a mother and child. The type of business transaction is very different from the altruistic surrogacy, which is a compassionate act of generosity and sacrifice that does not involve for-profit payment. In an effort to protect women and their children, Republicans offered 14 amendments that would have shielded women from this type of exploitation and sale and purchase of the children in our state. Sadly, they were all rejected on party line votes. In spite of disturbing name of the nature of the bill, it passed the House by a 50 to 47 vote and is now on the governor's desk. What the hell? After the bill's passage, House member Van Verden did not mince words, and she knew that the bill quite literally legalized the sale of babies. I would say that human decency died in the dark this morning around 1 a.m. at your Washington State Capitol. House Democrats voted to legalize the purchase and sales of human babies. In the 6 years I've served in the Washington State House of Representatives, I have never been more disgusted by a sinister piece of legislation, Van Verren wrote. Currently in Washington, any woman can offer to be a surrogate mother for couples who want a baby. Today it is done of an altruistic giving, love, compassion, and caring on the part of a surrogate mother. For House Republicans, this bill was a matter of conscience. We all voted no to protect the womb from being monetized and commercialized. This bill set virtually no limits on the amount of people will be able to sell or purchase a human baby for. What we have, what we have, what have we become as a state selling babies to the highest bidder? It is this who we are. We are. I asked these questions on the House floor in the final debate. In its current form, as it passed out of the House, the bill even permits convicted felons to purchase human babies. While it is certainly any mother's right to give up her child for adoption or to have a surrogate child for an infertile couple, removing the commercial incentive serves as a barrier for breeding babies for the sole purpose of trafficking. Because of the loopholes in the commercial surrogacy laws, the parents who purchase the babies do not undergo the same screenings as parents who are trying to adopt. Instead, they simply create a contract, pay money, and purchase a baby. Anyone with enough money, including human traffickers, will be able to go to Washington State starting January 1st, 2019, and purchase a human baby, no questions asked. As the website Them Before Us points out, we will never be able to track who is buying these children and why they are being taken. We don't know the outcome for a child and children purchased by a man grown in the uterus of a woman desperately in need of money. We don't know that he left the child or multiple children with the sole intent to sell them for sex. We don't know that he has turned into surrogacy instead of plucking children off the street at the port bus terminal in order to prostitute them. Conveniently for them, intended parent offers far fewer entanglements than does kidnapping runaways. If you think this sounds alarmist, consider the fact that people have been caught using commercial surrogacy for the sole purpose of exploitation. A couple in Australia was sentenced to 40 years in prison after they found to have bought a baby through commercial surrogacy and sold them for sex almost immediately after he was born. The little boy was born into a world of sexual abuse that went for years, thanks to commercialization of children. Ironically enough, lawmakers across the United States and in Washington are pushing for stricter background checks when people purchase a gun. As this law illustrates, if you want to buy a baby, no background check is needed. A crisis conscience indeed. If you like to call Governor Jay Inslee to urge him to veto SB 6037, the governor's office phone number is 360-902-4111. Yep, and in Seattle's trying to take away your guns, but when it comes to stuff like this, that's okay. Wow. Pretty effing blasphemous. Those sons of bitches, those vultures, need to get taken out legally. What gets me the most, because if you read their state constitution, Article 1, Declaration of Rights, the Constitution of the United States is the supreme law of the land. That's Section 2. The federal government, it's called piracy. What we're seeing right now is legal piracy in the state of Washington. In Section 3, no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. That's Section 3 of the Declaration of Rights. And we can just keep going and going and going. Yeah, it really baffles me. So, when it comes to children, they're just numbers to them. Very extremely draconian indeed. One thing for sure. This is called Bizarro World. Doesn't matter what party you're in. This is absolutely unacceptable. That's the only words I can use. Of course, here, Section 23. No bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or impairing the obligations of all contracts shall ever be passed. That's the same thing here. And of course, heredity abolished. Nah. Rights reserved. Enumeration in this Constitution, certain rights shall not be controlled, denied, others retained by the people. Fundamental principles. Now that's Section 30. Fundamental principles. A frequent recurrence of fundamental principles is essential. Security of individual right and the perpetuity of free government. So the fundamental principles is out the window in the state of Washington. Belongs to the governor. Has a veto it. I recommend the governor of Washington, Jay Inslee, veto this damn bill. Wipe your rear end and give it back to those parasites. Plain and simple. If not, pack your crap and get the hell out of that state. Don't even come. Leave the United States as far as I'm concerned. Because you're a piracy sympathizer if you sign it. So, folks in Washington, you have an obligation. Make it happen. And that is it. I'd like to thank everyone for listening, plus feel free to download and share us on social media networks. If you have any questions, comments, or you send something that's interesting you may want to check out, whatever you do, please address your correspondence with decorum. Keep me on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Tumblr, YouTube, Freedoms Network, Minds.com, FutureNet.club, Picture.com/LuckyLuck3 with 3 eyes. You hit me at Gab, Gab.ai. That's more of a Twitter version for free speech. In addition, you can email me at LuckyLuck3@gmail.com to your cryptid ones. Especially on the Proton Mail account, you can hit me at LuckyLuck03@ProtonMail.com. All right, my friends. Once again, thank you for your time. Plus, always remember that demonic resistance is healthy for the soul and can liberate humanity. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep on spreading the love, and may your guardian spirits be with you.